Hello, hello, hello. All right. So, welcome to your week one workshop, which is super exciting. This is kind of, I guess, one of the most important weeks of the program, really, because this is where we set the foundations of what it is that you want to achieve over the next little while of working in this space, I guess. And without a really solid foundation and an understanding of where you're at right now, it can be quite difficult to reach those, those goals, those dreams, those aspirations. Doesn't matter whether they're big or small. If you don't really know what it is right now that's become a bit of a limiting belief or a barrier for you, yeah, you just know that there's something that feels kind of yuck. That's sort of standing in your way. So week one is all about just getting clear on where you're at right now with your life, breaking down what some of the barriers are for you and that are limiting you right now in your life, and most importantly, being able to unleash your confidence so that you can actually start to take steps to be able to go to that next level of whatever it is that you want to achieve. Yeah. So we're going to dive straight in. The idea of this is that our time, together here in the workshops are, they're really efficient and productive, I guess. So grab yourself a journal or something that you like to write on, because there'll be a lot of notes that you want to take here, and then just pause the video when you need to be able to give yourself some time and some space to be able to, take action on whatever it is that I've said here or something that kind of resonates with you. Yeah. So you'll see that I sort of look away every now and then because I've written a couple of notes that I want to share with you during the workshop today, and anything out for you guys. So strap yourselves in. You should have your journal by now. And yeah, let's get started. So you'll know that with week one, there was a series of questions that was given to you a few days ago about, I guess it's an interview with yourself around, what's going on for you right now in your life. What do you want your life to look like? Where is it that you're stuck right now or not feeling inspired or have lost your motivation? And if you were to look forward, what does your life look like if those things weren't a barrier for you? Yeah. So if you haven't answered the questions yet, it's okay. This workshop will still be totally relevant for you. But if you have, then fantastic, because the answers to those questions are going to be what kind of opens your mind and expands your mind into what is possible for you and where you might be kind of limiting yourself right now. Yeah. So it all goes hand in hand. If you haven't done them yet, great. Do them after this workshop. If you have, fantastic. So we are going to dive in and just get really honest with ourselves. There'll be a few more questions. There's lots and lots of questions what I teach. And the reason for that is because if we don't ask questions, then we don't know the answers, right? We know that there's something that doesn't feel good, feels a bit yuck, feels a bit sticky, but you're not getting to the bottom of what it is that's actually bothering you or challenging you or limiting you. So how can you provide a solution if you don't ask a question to be able to get an answer, right? So the desired outcome of this is obviously to be able to, shift your mindset in some areas of your life that just feel a bit yuck for you right now, or don't, feel as balanced as what you'd like them to be. And so you can see your world a little bit differently. So let's have a little look here. What have I written for you? And while I'm doing that, I noticed that, there were some thoughts and feelings that came up from some people here in the group around kind of where they're at right now, or they're feeling a bit stuck. And it was around a feeling of overwhelm. It's like this never ending to-do list in your life that, it's like you tick one thing off and three more things are added to it. Yeah. and it's just so overwhelming to kind of know even where to start, that becomes hard. So I'm just going to go and sit over here and do something that feels quite comforting because the to-do list is too hard, right? So one of my goals for you guys would be to be able to help you understand, what's urgent in your life that you need to, want to, desire to complete, and in what ways can you kind of time manage those so you are actually feeling accomplished and successful, and have a little bit of a structure in place as to what action you need to take on the things that you want to do, right? Need to do, urgent to do. Other things that came up are around like your vision for your life. You know that there's something more that you want than what you've got right now, but you don't really know how to get it or what it like really looks like. It's just it's a feeling or a thought you've got inside here. It's never something that you've like actually, put on paper, I guess. What else is there that I saw? Self-doubt. A lot of like self-doubt that comes up around like, who am I to be able to do that, have that, achieve that, desire that? I can't possibly do that. That's not me. I don't come from an upbringing like that. I don't have the money to do that. Like all sorts of really limiting beliefs around self-doubt, which then often lead to self-sabotage as well, yeah? When we already have a limiting belief that we can't do something, shouldn't do something, don't deserve to do something, we will often, as humans, find a way to sabotage the thing before it's even happened. So, yeah, there you go. We can't do it because of that, right? But really, you created that sabotage in order to have a reason to not do the thing. And sometimes the reason why we do that is because it can be uncomfortable to do the thing, yeah? So even though we want the thing, it's like a safety net. Well, if I sabotage it, I don't have to be uncomfortable. So I'm going to provide that safety net for myself. And even though I don't really like where I am, it's comfortable because I know what the result of that is. Yeah, I'm sure that some of this is probably resonating. Other things that have come up are like fear of failure, stuffing it up, what will other people think, all that sort of stuff. Maybe even like a lack of support as well from your loved ones, or a lack of support from yourself. Yeah. So these are some of the things that I would love to be able to help you kind of banish and clear, remove, dissolve from your life, to be able to open your mind to a place where you're thinking about what is possible instead of, what's not possible, right? Because one of the things that I find a lot of the time when I speak to people, especially women, is often we say like, oh yeah, it would be so nice to have this or that. I don't have time. I don't have the money. There's no way that I could do that, right? And so they're three common things I come up against: time, money, and just a lack of self-belief. There are other things. They're the three main things I definitely come up against. And, often it's not really a lack of time or a lack of money, because, you guys have invested in yourselves to be here, right? And investing in yourself is basically the first step of being able to achieve something, yeah? It doesn't always have to be a monetary investment. It can be a time investment. It can be a self-belief investment. It could be seeking advice or guidance from somebody else. So you're investing in someone else to help you. And once you start to open, again, your mind and your thoughts towards that way of thinking, it's amazing what opportunities you will start to see come up in your life simply because you're open to it. Yeah. Now, the only reason I know that is because I've been there, many, many, many times as well. And so, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you feel that way or that you are where you are right now. It's just that you haven't been in a place either before or right now where your mind is open to the, like the possibilities. Sometimes we get in that mindset of, you've got to hustle and you've got to grind and you've got to do 16-hour days just to fit everything in and be successful and be a mom and be a housewife and be a great, wife, daughter, sister, aunt, neighbor, work companion, like all the things, right? And there's so many hats that we wear each day. It's like, when do you just get to put the me hat on? And often, I know that you know what I'm talking about, and more often than not, what I find, especially when I start working with a lot more of my VIP clients, is we are so conditioned to give to others, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to do. However, when that comes from a place of, like, you've probably heard the saying before, fill your own cup before you give to others. It's so true. Like, if you're sitting in a place of being burnt out and just a hot ass mess, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're snappy, you're just kind of like getting through the day in survival mode. What is the energy that you're able to really give to other people? And that could be your family, it could be your work colleagues, it could be, clients, it could be anyone that you service in your life, even the checkout girl at the supermarket or whatever. Like, what is the energy that you're giving to other people when it comes from a place of burnout or a place of overwhelm or a place of frustration or a place of you not feeling fulfilled within yourself? Yeah. And so it's interesting when you look at the word like selfish, yeah, because being selfish in society generally has a really like negative attachment to it, which is interesting because when you are being selfish and saying yes to you, filling yourself up. And by doing this, I mean, like, you don't have to take yourself away on a holiday to the Maldives for a week to be able to do that. This could simply be like 10 minutes a day where you get to have a shower on your own, or you get to do a meditation, or you get to write in your journal, or 30 minutes where you get to go and take a walk by yourself, or you get to have an entire day off where it's just you. Like, whatever self-love looks like for you, those are the moments where you get to take a moment to refocus, to replenish, to rejuvenate yourself. And when you're starting to fill your cup up again, you exhale energy and vibrance and the thing, I guess, that you want to be able to give others, because how awesome is it when you receive that energy from other people because they're lit up? Yeah. And I know for me, there's nothing worse than waking in the morning, like you've had a good night's sleep, you're waking in the morning and the first thing you say is, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted. And you're already setting your intention for the day by telling yourself that you're just way too exhausted for life today. So I would love to be able to give you this little tool here. It's called the rose-colored glasses analogy. Some of you may have heard of this before, or maybe not. And I'm gonna, yes, over here. Okay. So I have these like sexy glasses that I'm supposed to wear when I look at computer screens. So I'm optometrist that I started this without them on, but all right. So let me show you. So what happens is when you look at your world around you, and if you're looking at your world from a very negative place, and it might not even be intentionally, but it can be like, oh, people are out to criticize me. Everybody's just having a go at me. I don't have time for this. Self-sabotage, jealousy, anger, lack of patience, all the things, right? What happens is these are our little negative glasses, yeah? So we're going to put them on, and when we look at the world through these glasses here, literally everything in your life will look this way, yeah? Because when your energy goes somewhere, that's where that energy is just going to continue to flow, right? So if you have an interesting situation arise that has a bit of a negative energy towards it, someone's had a go at you, you got a flat tire, maybe you injured yourself, or you burnt yourself, or you're running late, or whatever the thing is. It can be large, not large. When we start to say things like, oh, today's just a mess, everything in my life is hard, all the things around me are shit, everyone's having a go on me, right? Like, that's not the truth. Everyone in the world is not having a go at you. Everything in your life is not shit. It can be just very specific things, but when you're looking at the world with these little glasses on here and saying things like that, all of a sudden it feels like your entire world is like that. Yeah. And so what will happen if we were able to take these off and you actually allowed yourself to see your world differently? Like, if you stopped being so hard and so judgmental of yourself, how do you think your feelings about yourself might change, or about other people? Like, what would be the language that you might use? And so you'll often hear me inside the program here say, this is interesting, instead of like, this is hard, or this is shit, or this is really unfair, life's unfair, right? You'll hear me say, oh, that's really interesting. Because your language is heaps more powerful than what you will ever realize, yeah? And the way that you talk to yourself, I can guarantee you, is probably a lot different to how you talk to other people. But the way that you talk to yourself is ultimately the way that you are setting yourself up to see your world around you. It's also the way that you're inviting others to treat you as well. Okay? Now, if you need me to say that again, go and grab your journal. The way that you are talking to yourself is the way that you will see your world, and it's the way that you will see others, and it's also the way that you are conditioning people to treat you, yeah? And it's not always about, what you're feeling in the moment. You could just be feeling like stressed or angry or backed into a corner or, frustrated or whatever, but the language that you use around those situations is just your glasses talking. It's just these talking, right? And so if this was a permanent thing on your face that you see the world through, of course, that's the story and the conditioning that you're going to look at the world like, yeah? And what I invite you to do now is just take those glasses off and choose differently. Okay, it starts today. It starts from when you watch this workshop right now. You get to take these glasses off and you get to see and you get to do and you get to feel, take action, behave, all the things. You get to do that really differently if you want to. And it'll be incredible, the opportunities and the reactions from other people, but mostly the reaction from yourself that will happen when you just start to open your mind to changing your language a little bit differently, yeah? And instead of shutting things down, what you will be able to, the analogy I like to use when you say the words like, I don't know, or I can't do that. That's not possible. I don't have time, right? Like, every time you use these statements, you're shutting another roller door on any possible opportunity. Yeah. And so if you were able to use the words like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what the lesson here is for me. Or, okay, let me think about that. How can I make this work if I choose to want it to work, right? Like language like that. What that does is it opens an opportunity for you to actually bring the thing into your life if you choose to have it. And it can be something really big, like, you know, a new career or buying a new house or a car, or it could be something so small like taking 30 minutes to, you know, do some exercise, or to housework, or to, you know, declutter something in your life. I know that's something that's come up here. Like, well, like whatever it is for you, it can be big or small, doesn't matter. It's about not closing the roller door on the things that you actually want and starting to see where in your life you can fit those in. Okay. And that, my friends, is the law of attraction. That's a very, very small, short version of it. But basically, when you put good energy out, good energy will come back to you. When you put the opportunity to see things in a different way out there, guess what's going to come back to you? The opportunity to do things in a different way. And what that does is it allows you to release those feelings of overwhelm, of stress, of frustration a lot quicker and a lot more easier, because you can simply just be like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. This situation has me feeling quite frustrated. What is it that I'm willing to do about this? Well, okay, I had planned to do 30 minutes of exercise today, and now my child is sick, or I have a flat tire and I can't drive to my class or the gym. Cool, okay, what's a different solution I could do instead? Well, I do have still 10 minutes available, so maybe I could do something at home instead. You know, can be any example at all, right? But the idea is that you're in solution mode and finding opportunities and ways for you to be successful, rather than just shutting the roller door, which says, I'm a failure, I can't do the thing. Yeah. So what I would love for you to do is, if you haven't already, definitely answer the questions from the week 1 teaching, because this is going to allow us to work together on like where some of the barriers are in your life at the moment. What are the things that you're wanting to get more clarity on, you want to achieve, you want to get excited about, and it's going to allow us to build a little bit of a roadmap towards you stepping up into your next level self. Yeah, I like to call it your next level self. Okay. And so one of our next workshops is going to be all about like how can I be my next level self when I'm not there yet. Okay. So if you do have any questions about this, please comment below or pop it in the questions thread. I would love to know your little golden nuggets from this little workshop today. And also what has come up from you from answering some of the questions in our week 1 teaching, because once we know that information, it's going to be amazing what comes out of this for week 2, right? So this is like a building block. And with this, we can then build on it and week 2, right? Which is really, really cool. So week 2 is all going to be about like what would be different if you decided to just live the life that you want right now. What would be different? And I don't know about you guys, but that gets me shimmying, that gets me a little bit excited. So when I think about it for me. So yeah, so super excited to hear from you guys. Let me know what comes up from this for you. And then we're going to get started on working together the current barriers that you've got, so we can clear them and start to live as our next level selves. So we'll chat to you guys again very soon.